What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Chromecast. My name is Joe, joined here today by Andy Cam.
Hey, guys.
He's got the first intro from now on. Sorry, boys. And Robby and Gabriel.
Hey, what's up?
These dudes.
Wow, we just got grouped together.
I know.
Yeah, y'all don't even
We
get
don't
your own
even
intro
equal one
anymore.
human being.
Don't smirk.
You're just,
I will.
you're just Robby and Gabriel now.
I will
I'm just
Let me
going right
remind you
to
who
it.
fed the office today.
That's true.
Yeah.
We should talk about it right at the top. It's going to come up.
No, we're not going to talk about it. See if we can go the whole episode without talking about it.
We might be able to have a workaround, so we'll see.
Which phone is this?
We'll see.
6 or 7? That's a 6.
That's a 6.
That's the 6.
Okay.
Six.
I
That's
thought
a
we
6.
threw up the 7.
Yes.
Why didn't you throw up the 7?
Yeah, 7's got the metal.
That's so
Metal.
last year. I'm just
Old and crappy.
I think it has something to do with what Joe requested.
Yeah.
He's like, Joe told me to. I don't
Oh,
know.
now you start doing what Joe says.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
He
Yes,
introduced,
but-
you, he introduced you twice.
Yeah.
2 times in a row. May as well listen.
Yep.
All right.
I mean,
It's fair enough.
things are changing around here. Things are changing. Speaking of things that have changed, you might notice we have some new items on the desk. We have some new mugs. Shout out to Fresh Roasted Coffee. These folks are amazing. We're I got to give all credit to Andy. I'm going to say it, but this was Andy. We're brewing up something with them.
We got something brewing.
We got something brewing.
Something's brewing.
Now they've been an awesome affiliate over the years. We've been buying coffee from them for a while now.
Yeah, they're a no-brainer affiliate.
Yeah, this is one of those affiliates that we use this, we drink this every day,
Yeah,
and we
people
love it.
I'm sure there are plenty of people who listen to this or watch videos or read stuff online, and anytime we talk about stuff like this, I'm sure they think, yeah, we got paid to say this.
Right.
And we're saying that's fine. You can think that if you want to, but the reality is we've been drinking fresh roasted coffee for over a year now.
And have touted it.
Yeah.
And for,
It's been
yeah.
probably been.
Yeah, this is not. This has nothing to do with. I don't even think we make that much money off our affiliate stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't keep up with our finances.
Yeah,
I don't know anything.
it's a little bit. You know, it's
So it's not
there.
like, oh, we make so much money. We'll just.
Yeah.
It's bad coffee. No, it's awesome. I buy
Yeah.
it for relatives. Like I love it.
And
I love it.
they're just a great company that I like supporting. Like we like finding brands that we want to support, that we advocate for, and this is one of those.
I mean, heck, we advocated for them
Before we had an affiliate with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we got some sweet new mugs and some other swag. We got some Airscape containers for coffee.
That's honestly, of all the stuff we got, those are my favorite.
They're so
I'm
awesome.
so happy with
They're
them.
so awesome. We'll get a couple shots of them and throw them in. Andy Cam's wearing his shirt today. Check it out. Coffee for everyone. I love it. Cool little screen print design on there. I've got a shirt. We're working on something. I've got to get a couple other details together, and when we do that, we'll make kind of a more official announcement. Announcement. And but yeah, we got some other cool stuff. You guys, they sent some what were supposed to be gray logo tees, and you all got gray hoodies.
Yeah.
And right now, where we live in Central Kentucky, it's 87 degrees with a humidity that you just sweat when you walk
107%.
outside.
Yeah,
It's
not,
over 100%.
Yeah, it just hangs in the air like rain.
This is go get in the pool
Yeah.
sort of day.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andy Cam and I went with the, what are these? Enamel mugs? Is that what these are called?
That's a bowl with a hook
Dude,
on
this
it.
is
Yeah,
some
that's an oatmeal
soup.
bowl, bro. Yeah.
This is some soup making
Yeah, it's a big
type
big
of
cup.
cup. Really nice. We got a couple classic mugs, and then these ones. What brand are these?
They are
Asubi or Boo?
Asobu.
But they make them in the white, and then they also have them in black.
Those are
and
dope.
copper bottom.
I got one of
mean,
those.
it's just
That's what I've been drinking out of. But
Very
I
cool.
grabbed the
They are
standard mug for
awesome.
Yeah.
And this fits right perfectly beside my e-brake in my car and between my seat. It's too big for the cup holder.
It
but
actually fits in my cup holder if I turn it the handle
Get it fit in
45
there.
I
degrees.
won't.
Yeah.
Like I even
that.
tried in my wife's SUV. It just
Yeah.
it's like sitting. It's like
I do wish they made this exact mug. Just nix the handle.
yeah.
Like it's double walled.
I
It
do
doesn't
like that
need.
too.
You don't need a handle.
Don't
You
need the
just
handle.
grip
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
cup.
That would be nice.
It would be. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna get mine. I'm gonna cut mine off.
But-
Get some snips.
Yeah, absolutely. Just trim it off.
And then
Grind it down. Be
and,
fine. It'll be fine.
Get some white out.
Yeah, a little bit of whiteout. Be fine. No problem.
It'll
No
be
problem. So if
If
you
I'm
want,
missing a finger next time,
if you want-
Yeah, there you go. There's just the white label version of
There
it
you go.
right there. Yeah.
no, I thought you were gonna
Without
say
a
one
handle?
Without a handle, I was like, yes. Oh,
I mean, they might.
let's message them. Tell them they need to make it. But yeah, if you want some fresh coffee delivered right to your doorstep, these folks literally, you place your order, They roast the coffee, ship it to
They
you.
ship it. It's the best.
It's the best.
Less than
And
48
and
hours.
and for the price,
it's cheaper than what you go buy at the store.
especially if you if you drink coffee every day. If you have a couple people in your house that drink coffee every day, they'll all get hooked on it. And there's all sorts of different blends to choose from. We've been drinking on Anniversary.
6 months.
It
now,
was supposed
at
to be
least.
like a limited thing, I thought, but now it's just been hanging around.
I think we just
I don't know.
thought. I don't think they ever said it was.
We just
a
thought it
limited-
was 'cause
it's,
the ordering
We
was
tried
listed.
it, and then Kenny and them were like, "Oh, we're going to order some of that," and they did. They got it. They liked it. Went to go order it again, and
it
it
wasn't
wasn't there.
available.
And so we we're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they're getting rid of it." But
Yeah.
Here,
Anywho,
here
it's
you go.
fantastic.
No handle. A little bit different form, but still, that's a pretty
I like that, too.
legit looking cup.
There we go.
Check this out.
There we go.
Ooh.
We'll find some other mugs, and we'll
So
have
this
fresh
is
roasted just
called
print on them.
the ultimate mug, is what this is called.
I agree with that. It's almost like a non-stick pan on the inside.
It
Like
is.
Yeah.
the coffee after you're done,
It's just
sits,
beaded
it's like
up,
beaded
like,
and bubbles.
like when
at
you
the
take your
bottom.
car to the
Amazing.
car wash, and it just all beads.
So like you
over.
just run some water in it and flip it over, and it looks like it's perfectly clean.
love it.
It's
I love
they're,
it.
they're really nice. I'm a
dope.
big fan. And then it's got the lid for
Yeah.
when you.
For when you wanna
The
go.
other
And
day-
the
on the run.
containers, the coffee containers, have the similar look as this, so it's all,
Yeah.
all kind of just
it
blends
looks good.
together.
And their
But, like-
new logo they rolled out a couple years ago. This logo here.
Yeah, it's dope.
Yeah, I don't care for this one with the thing around it.
Yeah,
But this whole bean, it looks like it's got a little bit on fire.
Yeah.
The whole roasted. It's
Yeah.
Well done.
it's great.
Just well
It's
done.
good stuff. Check it out, chromobox.com/coffee. Go get some coffee if you like.
If you like
Go
coffee.
get some good coffee if you like drinking coffee every
I
day.
do wanna try-
If you're gonna have coffee.
Is that
drink
Life's
good
too
coffee.
short to drink back.
That's
coffee.
right.
Does that thing make Keurigs out there too?
Yeah.
Have you?
We need to at least buy one box of their
Yeah, they
Keurigs.
We
do.
should.
Or
They
just
should
to-
try it.
we have some of those credit things,
Yeah.
whatever. Let's get one just
We
to
should.
try it. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that drink coffee. And, you know, I've
Just the
bashed on
convenience.
Keurigs before, but there's a convenience factor
100%.
there. And if you have some of the newer Keurigs, like that new smart one that's out, that looks amazing. I mean, it's $200, so I'm not sure if I want to go buy one or not, but I've thought about it for the house.
Yeah.
And so, like, being able to get fresh roasted coffee sealed up in there and sent to me, it's like, ooh,
We
man,
need to try
that's-
it.
That
Let's
sounds
order
interesting.
some. Yeah, we
because
should
that
try
coffee
that.
maker has a single serve brewer too, so you can just use like the little
That's
reusable
what I
saw.
pod. Either way, it does do Keurig pods. So
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
to try it.
if you put really good coffee into those, I'm sure they'll brew up a decent cup.
It's
So
still hot water
Yeah.
pushed over beans.
Yeah.
So really, at the end of the day, the beans are still more important than
Well,
almost anything else.
Is
Yeah.
it still called beans after they're ground?
Ground beans,
sure, ground beans,
bean powder.
bean powder.
What was
Bean
the thing
powder.
we were watching earlier?
I
Really,
can't-
they're not really beans anyway.
So
Coffee grounds.
Andrew and I were
People always just
watching
call it coffee grounds.
Max. I think it's Max the Meat Guy, one of the Instagram guys I follow, and he did these crisped beef chips. So it's like steak that he had like crisped and then put into a dehydrator. I'm like, oh wow, those look really good. They're like crispy with bark on the outside. Well, then he throws them in a grinder and he ground them, and then he took
What?
a steak. And he
Powdered
covered
it
the
with them?
steak with
Wow.
ground steak powder,
Steak powder.
and
That's
and
extra.
seared it. Oh, but it looked real good. It looked really good.
You should
get
bread
into that.
chicken with it.
Like,
That would
what's
be
your
the
steak
ultimate.
coated in? Steak.
Yeah,
Like it,
What
like
else?
chicken or pork coated.
Yeah,
in that
like
would be
steak
very
fried
interesting.
chicken.
Yeah.
There you go.
I love it. Let's try it, Gabe. You've got all your fancy
you've got a
smoker
Traeger.
stuff now.
Good.
You got a Traeger now, bro. You can do
Griddle's
it.
not here yet. I ordered the griddle.
Come on.
The griddle last night. It'll be here.
Yeah, you can do it now. You got a Traeger.
Okay.
So let's dig
Traeger
into
guy.
let's dig
Traegering.
into
That's
to
what my
some
wife
news from
asked
the
me
week.
last night. What are you doing
I'll get us
outside? It's
there.
like, I'm Traegering. What do you think I'm doing?
Traeger.
Traegering. I'm out here Traegering.
It's a verb.
Hey, I'm gonna go outside and Traeger.
I'm gonna go out here and Traeger for a while, babe. I'll be right back.
What does that mean?
In
I don't
12, I'll be right back when this meat's done in 12 hours.
come back
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate Traeger selling point.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna take you 12 hours to do anything with this. So if you just
Yeah.
want to get away, I'm gonna
This is
I'm
the
gonna go.
thing. This
cook
is
some
the
stuff.
thing for you.
And then you leave to go play a round of golf.
That's right. You can do whatever you want.
Go have a drink, come back.
I was Traegering.
I was Traegering.
Sorry, I was out Traegering.
Wait,
Honey,
isn't
I've
it
been
just
cooking
you?
dinner all day.
I've been slaving over the Traeger.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, you could have
But
just.
you left.
Yeah.
I know. That's part of it.
And all you RecTech guys out there, don't come at me. RecTech, Traeger, Pit Boss, whatever.
I don't know what any of these
Traeger's where
things
it's
mean.
at.
Yeah, those
What
things.
about big green egg thing?
Garbage.
Garbage.
Absolute garbage. You can only put like
Is that what it's called? Big green
the
egg?
big
Yeah.
green egg. And, all right.
Yeah,
What's
go
the-
buy some terracotta pots. You can make one of those.
Yep.
Boom.
Absolutely.
Big terracotta
For real.
egg.
I mean, I can
Terracotta
I can
egg.
smoke a pork butt with a terracotta pot, a heat plate, and a metal pan. $35.
Traeger
Gabe
MacGyver
just-
over here. Big Traeger.
That was courtesy of
Wow. I can't wait for the explosions behind him. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yep. We're going to film an entire intro sequence.
Yes.
That's
Him
McTraeger.
walking with the Traeger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Him opening
Meat
up, the smoke
Yes.
rolling out.
Billowing smoke. Yes, I see
Andy
it.
Cam, get to work.
This podcast video won't be out till next month.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to take that long.
This is going to.
you'll see the premiere.
How are you
on,
with special effects?
SmokeInsider.com.
I'm working on it.
Okay,
I'm
special
working on
effects are going to be very needed on this.
They
I'm going to
will.
need you to drop everything else we're doing and solely work on that.
Yeah, call Michael Bay and tell him whatever he's doing. We need
Yeah.
him for a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we can do that.
Yeah. When we clap you into out of
The
existence,
void.
do you
He goes
go
to the
do you go
void.
into a void where you can just work indefinitely and then we just clap you
Or is
back
it like
in?
the
it's
Blink
like,
How's that
Apex.
work?
Stonies,
No, it's like
yeah.
Apex. He goes to the void. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
It's a void, so I can do some work, but
Okay.
it just isn't. It's kind of like at half speed.
Oh,
So it's not like an
okay, so
efficient
not as
void.
productive.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
I get
Well,
it.
darn. Well, still okay. Just drop everything else you're working on.
Interesting.
Need you to do that. Okay, let's dig into some news from the week. Enough banter. We're good at banter. We could just have an entire show that's just banter. I mean,
Bantercast.
there are a lot of podcasts that are like that.
That's true.
People listen to them. They're entertaining. I listened to one. But anywho, let's talk about the phone that you have on the table.
Yeah.
My friend.
Yeah, I'm back. Pixel 6 Pro.
He's back.
And I think last week I had this on the table too. We
You
just didn't
did
talk about it.
I think at one point you started to talk about it, and I was like, let's hold it. Let's hold it.
it was a backup kind of thing.
Yeah.
If we were going to touch on it, but yeah. So we put a video together about this particular move, and I explain all this in the video. So if you don't want to go watch that, we'll talk about most of it here. But
Yeah.
it'll be out today, tomorrow. Something. Well, by the time you're listening to this, it'll be
Yeah.
on the internet.
Yeah.
Most likely.
We're recording early.
Yeah, but the idea for the whole video and everything was just I was playing PUBG New State and on the Pixel 6, and it runs okay. But there's always been, since day one of that game, there's been a jitter with the right thumbstick. So the area of the screen you actually use to kind of look around, and it's always bothered me because like you move nice and slow, and it just kind of has like, I don't know, it looks like my hands are shaking or something. But then you use the gyro to do the same motion. It's perfectly smooth. And it's like, it's weird. It's like it's dropping frames or something, or maybe the touch sensor on the screen doesn't quite line up, or
Yeah.
you know, there is a hertz to the touch sensitivity on screens too. So like gaming phones are always like 600 million hertz touch response. You know, like
That's
it's-
not a thing.
Not really.
600 million.
But I think that last the Asus ROG phone, it was. I
It
want
was
to say it was like
stupid. 600.
Help
or-
us out, Andy
it was
Cam.
600 or 480.
What's
Yeah,
the
3 or 4?
ROG?
ROG Phone 5?
Oh, 5. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They skipped 4 because it's like bad luck.
Yeah, in Asia. Yeah.
I don't
think
feel
it's
like
Chinese
our air
culture.
conditioning is quite going. Just saying. I am.
I'm actually comfortable, which
I'm
is odd.
sweaty.
I'm
I've been
usually hot.
sweaty all day though.
Yeah,
It's
me
just
and
hot
Joe,
I
here.
can feel cool air moving. on
That's
me.
good.
Um,
That's good.
but yeah, we turned
Our
it
air
off to
conditioning
film.
was off on Tuesday.
It was
and
like
Monday.
off Monday and Tuesday. It was just not working, and so it got fixed Tuesday afternoon. It's Wednesday as we're recording this, and it's warm enough here right now. I thought it caught up. I thought it was fine. It's a big building, you know,
Takes a minute.
and we filmed an unboxing for maybe 15-20 minutes. Call it 20. And the temperature up here went up 2 degrees in those 20 minutes. And for it to go up 2 degrees, like in the winter when we're trying to warm it up, it's like, whew, it takes a while to get
Right.
up. 20 minutes, it went up 2 degrees. So we're fighting an uphill battle
Yeah,
this
we are.
afternoon.
Sorry. Sorry.
But yeah,
Moving on.
so the whole idea, the reason I went to the Pixel 6 Pro is I just wanted to see, is it the processor, is it a Tensor thing? Because I knew the 6 Pro has a better screen, probably has a better touch sensor as well, because they usually kind of all come, it's one piece you buy as a company to build a phone. And so I thought, well, maybe the 6 Pro has a better version of
Sure,
this
yeah.
thing. So I'll test it. And it did work a little better. I still think there's something with Tensor, or maybe the way GPUs, I don't know. I have no idea. 'Cause it doesn't do it any other game. It's just PUBG Mobile. Or no, I'm sorry, PUBG New State. But then as I had my card in there, all of a sudden I was like, oh man, I forgot how nice this screen's so nice. And so I kept it in there for a little bit longer, and then I played a video. I think I was at home and I was showing my wife something, and I forgot how good the speakers are in this. I was like, oh man, the speakers are just so good. And then the fingerprint scanner wasn't giving me any trouble, and it still hasn't. You can see it. Like, watch.
It was crazy because on the 6, that was my biggest nag.
It works all the time, and my Pixel 6 does not. It gives me trouble all the time.
Just open my phone, see what it does.
And the screen's awesome.
Worked that
and
time.
Maybe it's more RAM. Maybe it's just Pro in the name. I don't know. It feels like it's faster.
That's it.
It feels like it just
Definitely
stays
the name.
smoother.
Yeah.
Because that's the only upgrade. You get 12 gigs of RAM, and it's got a little more storage, I think, right? It's
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah,
There's no
256.
difference in the
The
types of.
the extra.
But the SoC is the exact same. And the camera, I've used the telephoto a couple times, which is it did come in handy. It just so happened like within a couple days, all the things that this phone does better, I actually used all of those things like back to back. It just almost accidentally. It didn't really mean to do it. And the next thing I know, I'm just like, I think I screwed up when I decided to go with the Pixel 6. There was something about this phone when I first got it, when we first got these in for review, that I remember we went back and forth, podcast, the live stream. It was like, I don't know, this feels too much like a OnePlus or a Samsung.
you did an entire article on why you were
We did
going
a
with the
video.
6.
We did a
Yeah.
video early about it. Yeah.
And I don't want to say that I made a mistake necessarily, but I think long term now, looking at the two, and the vibration motor, like
Yeah,
I miss
haptics.
notifications a lot on the 6.
Oh yeah.
for
Missed them
some
all the
reason.
time. Yep.
I think it was Marquez or somebody looked. The vibration motor on that one moves this way, so side to side on the phone. On this one, it's oriented to move up and down.
Oh.
And
Really?
apparently that makes a huge difference on how you can feel. He was talking about some other phones too, but he talked about the 6 and 6 Pro as well. Like he was just talking about haptics in general. Anywho, whatever it is, and it's located, like I think the haptics are up top on the 6, and they're down in the bottom portion on the 6 Pro. Well, my phone's always in my pocket like this. It's always in my hand like this. And when
Yeah.
you're typing, like the typing experience on this is so, like, everything's just better. It's just like, hey, I've really liked the Pixel 6. Would you like one that's just better all around? And I don't know. There was something about the Pixel 6 when they came out that phone still to me feels more pixely. Like, it feels like more like Google's lineage of phones versus this thing feels like they took a Samsung type phone and gave you the Pixel experience.
Right.
I still think that's the case, but I think since I went with the Pixel 6 and kind of enjoyed that pixely experience for a little bit, but then I went to the ROG phone, I went to the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus, I went to the OnePlus 10 Pro, and then back to the Pixel.
Fold there for
Hey,
just
I
a
did
moment.
the fold for, so I went through some phones, and so I think I broke myself for the whole, like, I want the Pixel feel. I was okay with going with a more premium, fancier feeling phone, I guess. It doesn't bother me as much. And just, Gabe and I were talking about it this week, like, once you go Pixel, the experience of using a Pixel is really hard to get away from.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it's like, you start using other stuff, and that's what draws me back to it all the time. But now, instead of being drawn back to the outward aesthetic, I'm just like, don't really care. This one is better. It just is. It's a better phone. And so that's what I'm driving now. And then Apex Legends came out and runs like a dream on both of these phones.
Yeah.
But it runs perfect on here too. And so
it was funny. I mean, just the screen size alone, I was copying your buttons from Apex Legends because
and they were all moved.
Yeah, because like on New State we could copy over stuff,
Right.
and you and I play with, like, I've always kind of used your layout.
Yeah.
And I copied it over from New State, so I'd gotten used to that layout, and I was like, all right, I know Robby's taken the time to already figure this out.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just gonna copy his layout. So I was sitting there copying them, and I was like just moving the buttons, getting them about the same size, and I was like, oh man, like just the size. I mean,
Little bit extra
it's
screen real
just a
estate.
little bit. It's marginal, but it's enough that you notice. So I mean, I don't remember that video specifically, but I know we did keep coming back to like the value proposition of this phone.
Yeah.
So like where
doesn't
is
change to
that?
me.
Yeah. Where are you on that?
Yeah, that part doesn't. I don't think that changes. I don't think if you're looking for the best overall value, I still think the Pixel 6 holds that. I think that wins. not spending. But clearly, your habits are what really show what you care about and what you go do speaks a lot more about than what you say. And clearly, I don't have an issue with spending some money on phones. The phones I just listed are all close to $1,000 that I've gone and either bought and sold or bought and returned and tried. So like spending a little bit more money on a phone isn't really the end of it. Like I was honestly going to, when we made that video, I already shopped on Swappa to look to see what I could sell my phone, my Pixel 6 IV. I already looked, and it was just going to be easier to go ahead and go to T-Mobile and just put this on the monthly thing because I'm going to upgrade when the Pixel 7 comes out.
Right.
But talk to these fine gentlemen. It's like nobody else is going to be using this phone for the next little bit. There's no sense in me going through all that rigmarole to do it. But I was ready.
As long as we have it around when we need it for stuff.
I'd done the research to go replace it for myself too, and so.
No. You take the nice phone. No, go ahead.
To be fair, like it had been laying around back here. We'd use it for like the podcast.
We used it for the Andy cam. Is what it was.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you taking it because I got to upgrade the Andy cam.
Yeah, we did. We did. What are we rocking over there now? What is that?
It's a Canon EOS R.
We talked about that last week.
Good.
I remember now.
But I felt
victim. So smooth.
I fell victim to the same.
That's why it looks so good.
Same thing Robby was talking about because I had switched to the 6 that we had here in the office because I wanted to test the Android developer preview for some Chromebook features and stuff. And in doing that, realized, man, I'm really missed a lot because I've never driven a Pixel like long term. I've had one for a while, but I've never had one for nearly as long as either of these guys. And then after using them, I'm like, man, I really like a lot of this stuff. And I really like my OnePlus. I've had the 9 Pro longer than most phones, but I don't like what they've done with Android 12.
I didn't either. On the 10
there's
Pro.
a lot of stuff on here that I wouldn't say is buggy. It's just counterintuitive, maybe.
It's like they tried to keep a lot of Android 11's UX with Android 12, so they just didn't include Android 12 on the Pixel and Android 12 on a OnePlus are very different.
Yeah, so I was using that, and then I switched back to Android 12, and then it kept telling me I had an Android update to Android 13, but I had opted out. I'm like, what? And so finally, I just pushed the button and let it update to Android 13. Well, a few days ago, I was messing with it, and it's like, it's still a little buggy. Android 13 is not quite there yet. So I went to the developer page, and I clicked opt out. And a couple minutes later, I get the OTA update to go back to Android 12. I'm like, cool. Be back on stock Android on the Pixel 6. Life will be perfect. It tried to update like 3 times, and after the 3rd time, it came back to just a no command screen, and I was like, thanks, Google. Just borked my phone.
Gabe, living on the edge.
You got out of it, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Finally, living on the edge.
After trying like a dozen times to go to recovery and all that, I was finally able to plug it in ADB through. So right now it's just clean stock. It's nothing's installed on it. It's just stock Android. But I'm definitely going to put my card back in and use it because
I miss it.
I miss it. I miss the way the software works. I do miss the camera. I'm not a huge photographer, but I was talking with Andrew this morning. I'm getting into Instagram and doing stuff like that, and I want to be able to take good quick videos and pictures when I do take them. So I'm going back.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, Pixel always draws me back eventually. It's almost like I know I'm going to go try something else, and like eventually I'm going to get drawn back to this thing. Like I won't be able to escape its clutches for too long because
you're going to try
something.
You're going to try
like some new.
You're going to convince yourself,
or they'll do something with Chromebooks, and I was like,
right,
I can't not have that, And now, like with the Pro, I feel like there's always been something a little bit missing with different Pixel phones. It's always been like they're almost so good, but even the Pixel 4 XL was like the last flagship Pixel I had for a while. It wasn't always the best at games and stuff. Like it always, because you're almost a full generation behind processor wise. And so, like the Tensor, I feel like it's starting to come into its own. Where most games work really well on it, and as the 6A, like the 6A is going to be the biggest catalyst for all of this.
Dude, yes.
At $400
we talked about it last week.
Yeah, at $400 and being on sale, just getting Tensor into a bunch of people's hands is it'll drive developers to have to make sure that they're just, and I guarantee you it probably isn't that much work. It's not like, oh, we have to rewrite our software no, it's just go make sure it works. Try it. Make sure everything's cool, and if it's like, oh, clearly there's a couple things, if we do this, it'll work fine on both. Cool. It's just a matter of taking time to do that and having a reason to do so. And I think the Pixel 6a will be the catalyst to make that a thing.
Yeah, I was telling my wife about that last night. She doesn't keep up with this stuff, but I was telling her, how far Google had come with the sales and what we talked about last week, and I'm like, potentially
Watch out, iPhone.
Well,
here comes
potentially-
Pixel.
Seriously though, potentially the 6A.
Why didn't we write that headline?
And the 7 coming later this year could push Google into the top 3 in the market.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Google,
huge.
who's always kind of been the butt of everyone's joke when it comes to being a phone maker, number 3 in the country.
Yeah.
That's huge.
No, it's huge.
Yeah, it's a big move in the last couple of years, and I think Tensor has a lot to do with that. And there's reports now that the new Tensor that's coming will be a 4 nanometer, which is awesome. That's a nice step. It's the current one is 7 nanometer process, and so all the high end ARM chips in phones are 4 nanometers, and so that's cool to hear that's what they're fabbing. Apparently, they're going to start fabbing those chips.
That's what's in the newest
July.
Snapdragon, right? The Gen 1.
I'm pretty sure the Gen. What is the new one called? Is it Gen 2? It's Snapdragon 8.
8.
Yeah.
Gen 2.
Yeah.
Or it's Gen 1 Plus is the one that's out
Plus.
now.
Yeah,
that's what I
that's
was
it,
thinking.
Gen
Yes.
2, they'll probably announce Gen 2 in December at their thing.
So when did they start for? With the Plus or with just the 8?
I want to say I think 888 was a 4 nanometer. It might have been 5 nanometer though, because they got to 5 quick. They've been on 5 since the 865 might have been. I don't know. I'd have to go look it up. But all that mostly now that we're moving into such tiny processes for processor fabrication, like it's more about battery life than it is about performance. You're not going to see massive, like back when they went from like 28 nanometer to 14 nanometer. It's like
big deal.
You saw some pretty good performance bumps because of this. It's not. You're not going to see these massive performance gains just because of that.
Yeah,
more of an
we're
efficiency
reaching
thing.
lossless
Yeah,
data capabilities.
Yeah.
It's going to be, like Robby said, it's going to be about battery life.
Yeah. And
all
because that plays into performance mainly because if the processes are shorter, it takes less energy, it creates less heat, that creates less throttling. And so you see that in any mobile chip, especially the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 sucks. I'm sorry. For gaming, I tried it on 3 phones over the last 6 months. It was in the ROG. That might have been 888 Plus. Because the ROG phone was super fast. But the Galaxy S22 Plus and the OnePlus 10 Pro, both of those were Snapdragon 8 Gen 1s. And I'd read that they have a problem overheating. And it felt like I took a generational step backwards playing games.
Wow, really?
Yeah, you play for about 5 minutes and you feel the phone heat up pretty good. And a big drop in performance. Like, I remember playing on those phones and being like, the Pixel 6 plays this well. Like, never thought of it as some, like, gaming monster. It's just but the Pixel is just this good. And, like, I'm buying these phones to play games a little bit better and have some of those features. And they just weren't doing it. And so I think the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Plus, I think they've tweaked it a little bit so that some of that overheating stuff isn't as bad. But that's what it comes down to. Right. You got to keep that heat threshold down so that you don't have to throttle your processor constantly. Yeah. And that's where you win. It's not so much that you gained a bunch of performance necessarily from that process. You gain battery life and you gain the ability to keep heat down.
Well, and it's just also a testament that like Google is pushing and being innovative. They're working on whatever newest tech is out there. They're not some like, hey, well, here comes new Tensor Gen 2, and it's like,
it's the equivalent of a Snapdragon 855.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like they're at least keeping
up.
Yeah, they're keeping stride with what else is going on in the market.
And the Tensor,
they have to. They should.
The current Tensor it's not like it's some slouch or anything.
No.
Like really, when it comes down to it, some of the games that may not run as well on it as they do on an 888 or Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 or whatever, usually it just comes down to probably something not being aligned perfectly right.
Yeah,
the horsepower's there. It's just
it is.
What
I
have played on the
more
6
core power than
it's just as good as it is on the 9 Pro.
And to my point, like what I'm talking about when I say this, and I've said this in other podcasts, but load up PUBG Mobile, not PUBG New State, PUBG Mobile. They are notorious for basically I can't say that word. Holding back certain devices just based on the processor inside of them. And so Chromebook specifically. So you load up a Chromebook, a lot of times you don't even have the option to attempt to load the higher graphics or the higher frame rates. It won't even give it to you.
Right.
It's already
Were you going to
decided.
say nerfing?
Nerfing's a better word.
There you go.
There we go.
I have other things on my mind that I was
I got you.
personal things.
we'll
starts with an N.
we'll tell our patrons about that if you
Yeah.
want to learn more about it.
There you go.
Robbie's personal stuff.
That's a closed group. So I could say that. That would have brought up major pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so like you see this in Chromebooks, and it happens on phones too. So you load up PUBG Mobile and pull it up on a Pixel 6, which has plenty of horsepower to run this game. You can't go above, I think you can go to HDR graphics.
Yeah.
You can't go to the higher ones. And at HDR graphics, you can't run it at the higher frame rates. It's not that it can't, it won't even let you attempt it. So that means they have chosen to say, nope, can't. We're going to nerf this on purpose because we don't know what this processor is, basically, is what it comes down to. Because this happened on the MediaTek MT8183, so Companion 500, and things like the original Lenovo Chromebook Duet. When it first launched, low graphics, low frames, looked like trash, barely played. That processor didn't change. Nothing changed in it. And then I remember like 6 months or 8 months down the road, I'm like, whoa, I can do HDR graphics and almost the highest frame rates. And it ran just fine.
Yeah.
It didn't change. Nothing changed. They just said, oh, yeah, this processor will allow this stuff to work.
Yeah.
And so you see game developers doing this, or they have their game set up. If I don't see these chipsets, we're not unlocking the full potential of this. But then you have things like Apex Legends where I've got everything cranked as high as it'll go. And even today, like, we got into a match where, I mean, it felt like there were people coming from every direction. And
One guy up on the balcony or that shipping container up there.
I was so glad he blew up at the
yeah. I think because none of us
I
threw a
headshotted
grenade
him
up there.
twice. No, we didn't.
And then he just blew up.
I think he either blew himself up or he was throwing a grenade and one of us shot it or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. But, intense firefights, no frame drops. Graphics stay up. Phone doesn't overheat. Doesn't kill my battery.
Battery life has been amazing.
So clearly, there's a way to optimize games to make sure they take full advantage of Tensor's GPU, because it's a different GPU than what's in the Snapdragon. Snapdragon has the Adreno stuff. Tensor's using the more standard Mali GPUs. It's awesome. It tests off the charts. It's fully capable. You got to take the shackles off of it.
Sure.
And so to see them going now to a 4 nanometer process, and we add in the Pixel 6a factor and all this stuff, like, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I really think over time, in the next year or two, like, Tensor is going to be just fantastic. And again, I'm not trying to say it's not now. It's just, it feels like slowly but surely these developers are like, okay, yeah, we'll include you. And that's just going to get better. And so all of that is coming from me going back to the Pixel 6 Pro. It's like this phone feels like now to me a device that I can just hang with, versus it being all these concessions. Like, I'm constantly like, well, I think the value proposition was so intriguing for me in the Pixel 6 because in the back of my mind, I knew I'm going to want to try these other phones out. I'm going to try these other things. And so if I don't have too much invested in this, I don't feel too bad about it. Versus this felt more like a bigger investment. Like, I'm going to have to stay put now. And, but now I feel so much more comfortable saying
because you've tried some other. You went and tried the Galaxy, the latest Galaxy.
Right.
You tried the latest OnePlus.
Well, and I'm seeing the game. It just happens that I love Apex Legends. If it,
Robbie's obsessed.
I love this game, but the fact that it runs perfectly on here, that unlocks something for my brain too. Like, the game that I want to play most, I don't have to constantly be like, well, I got to turn my frame rates down to play it on Pixel. I love everything else about this phone, but I'd rather play my games on a different one. The game that I want to play most plays best on here too. So now it's got, like, I got everything in this phone, and I'm absurdly happy with it.
What about the curved display?
It never bothered me that much.
Yeah.
Like, I still would rather it be flat.
Sure.
I really would. But like with this case on it, it
comes up the edge a little more.
A little bit, yeah.
Is it a Spigen? What is that?
Yeah, it's Spigen's two-piece. The
See,
one.
I think
shout out to Spigen just making some awesome cases
I prefer it
here
though.
lately.
Maybe it's because I'm so used to the OnePlus, but even after using the Pixel 6 for a month, I prefer the curved glass.
I like the way it looks.
I didn't spend enough time with the 6 or the 6 Pro to really get a feel for. I've never had a curved display, so I've never really.
Look at him. He's playing on my heartstrings now. Fine, I'll go buy one, and you can play with this one. Okay, it's fine.
Let's just swap
pressuring
phones.
me. He's
Let's
like, I've
swap-
never used it.
Man,
I've never used
look
it.
at
He's
it.
single and
Man,
has no children. He can go buy his own phone.
I would love to have one.
I seriously-
I wish we
I
had
there
one
was
around.
one that didn't belong to anybody in the office. And it was more of a
No, dude.
Here, use this.
Now my wife has had it since it came out.
Yeah.
And she would just stay on. She's going to stay on the same phone. She had the 4XL until the 6 came out.
Yeah.
Like, because when the 5 came out, she's like, should I get one of these? No.
The size, the little bit of time I did use it, the size was a little big for me because I have smaller hands and
Skinny jeans.
I have skinny jeans, and a big, huge phone looks a little funky.
Yeah, I mean, and
Honestly,
that didn't change.
Yeah, yeah.
But the overall size of it, for some reason, I remember us me being like, man, it just kind of feels unwieldy and it's huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a lot bigger than most phones. But again, since then, the other phones I've tried
Right,
are
are
either
all-
this big
Right.
or larger.
Right, for sure.
Except the S10 Plus. It had the same size screen, but man, that phone is a well-built phone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't love their software, and there were some bugs in it that really aggravated me. But boy, can Samsung build a phone.
Yeah.
That thing is so beautiful.
Yeah.
I still love the feel of that phone.
Yeah, I mean, they've been hard at it for
Flat screen and everything.
for a
God,
while now.
It
They've
was,
been
to
making
me,
some
it
great
was like
phones.
that was the epitome of like smartphone. Like,
Yeah.
I loved the way that phone was made, the screen and everything on it. But
Yeah.
Pixel just keeps drawing me back in.
Yeah.
Can't get out of the grip. Now you're gonna have Pixel Buds come out.
Yeah. It's a whole
Pixel Buds
ecosystem.
Pro. I don't know anything about this tablet. I don't know, who knows, but
Yeah.
Between a Chromebook,
And the watch.
the Buds, Pixel Watch, like
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
be the ecosystem tie-in. The phone's been enough to constantly draw me back. I can't
Right.
imagine the gravitational pull of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
I'm all for an ecosystem if it's providing some value, right? Like
As
if
long as
you're
there's value and there's a way out if I want it.
right. Yeah, for sure.
I think that's what always kept me at arm's length from Apple products. Like,
yeah.
in a way, Apple's always been intriguing. Like, it's always like,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There's a pull.
Hardware is incredible.
Right.
It's all
There's a gravitational pull
incredibly
towards
well built.
this. But then I start thinking, like, if I go to use those products, you got to buy into that whole thing. You have
Yeah.
to buy into using Apple's software too. And I don't like their software.
Yeah.
I think their stuff sucks for the most part. I don't like the way that it all works with only itself. Like, that's what's always been so intriguing to me about Google's software stuff. And it's what, Microsoft has figured out with Windows stuff. They're like, oh, maybe if we stop making stuff only for our thing and branch out, like they're pushing up against Google again. Like, Office products, at one point, Google was starting to push that
Yeah.
tide towards everybody's just going to start using Google Docs and Drive and all this stuff. But Microsoft has seen a huge resurgence since
Yeah.
they now make their products for everyone. They have online versions, and like, there's a horizontal approach to this stuff, and there's a vertical approach.
And
Google,
Apple's-
for the most part, takes a horizontal approach.
And Apple is all in on
It's all
vertical.
vertical.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It's-
like hardcore into that and the proprietary stuff and all
And for
of
some
that.
people,
I mean,
they don't care.
It's
but,
what it is.
But for someone like me who just said, I have a gravitational pull towards this piece of hardware, yet I tried 4 other phones in 6 months. Clearly I like the idea of having an escape hatch to go try something else.
Yep.
And the idea of buying into an ecosystem that doesn't just say, we frown upon that, but like, I will not allow that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, all those files, all that work you did, if you don't have Apple hardware, you can't use it.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me feel claustrophobic to even think about investing in any of my time into that stuff, because it's like, well, what if they make a change I don't like, or a piece of hardware comes out that looks like it would be the best thing I could buy, but I can't use any of Apple's stuff on it now, and like that's a shackle I'm just not comfortable with making, to putting on myself.
Yeah, but it's the convenience of that pull in so many people.
Yeah.
The convenience of that and the fact that it all just works together and they don't have to worry
Yep.
about it, but then they just get locked into it
Yeah.
over time, especially as
And a lot of people will never care.
Right, yeah.
They just won't
absolutely.
care. They just will be like, oh, I know that phone's better. I know that laptop's probably better. I know that, I don't know if anybody's ever going to make a better tablet than an iPad, but I know that tablet's better. I know those headphones are better. I know these things are all better, but if it's not made by Apple, I can't have it. They don't care. Like, they're not even looking at it, or they look at it and they go, oh, well.
Yeah.
But for people like
Look
me,
down on
that
it.
that feels
Garbage.
it feels just like I don't know. I just can't stand that feeling of it. Like Windows, even to a point, like gets a little bit of that. Like,
yeah, for sure.
I don't want to get into using something on a Windows device that I couldn't go jump to a different device and use. I don't want to get, like, if you bought a Microsoft Surface device and it was like, oh, there's these certain pieces of software, they won't work on other Windows machines, they'll only work on Surface machines. I would push back against that too. Like, I don't like it. It's why I started using the Chrome browser to begin with. Like,
exactly.
and Gmail, and it's horizontal integration.
I can go grab whatever and use it.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I don't know how we got over it.
I don't know.
Got
Andy's
me-
over there.
got me
Andy's over there
ranting.
like, have you all heard about this Apple Watch though that I have here? That's
I don't know,
the
it's-
best ever.
I will say it's a very elitist product, but it's also like a almost a brainwash to be okay with. Oh, I can't use that kind of thing. It's fine because it's Apple, so
It's
I'm
funny
happy
'cause,
with what I have.
Jack, who used to be a coworker up here, used to be super into Apple stuff. I don't think he has anything Apple anymore. I think he's completely walked away from all of it. But he was so, like, he was the Apple guy. Like, everything Apple, like, he wanted it, bought into the whole ecosystem, everything. And I remember he would watch a keynote, and I think this is early on. This is one of the things when I heard him say this that made me go, I don't want any part of this. I remember he got done. He was so disappointed. He's like, man, I was really hoping we would get XYZ this year.
Wait,
It's
what?
a team. Don't you do that for the Titans? Basically the same thing.
I'm on the team,
Wow.
dude. They just don't know it yet.
Well, that's the thing. Like with the Titans, if they made a bunch of really dumb decisions and kept trading away players, like if they traded away Derrick Henry and signed a bunch of rookies, and just ran the program to the ground, I would just go root for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like I just
You
move
come to
on.
the Packers.
No,
No, I will say though. I will say,
no.
The biggest thing since starting here that I've noticed with like the Google, the way it integrates with everything is when you guys leave the office and the lights turn off. Even though we've set it up on my phone that hey, I can hit that I'm here, not away, it doesn't automatically turn off or on when I show up or when I leave. And so it's like because of how Apple's set up,
We might be able to. We might still be able to do it in the home app.
Have you set up your routine?
Oh no, I haven't.
That's why.
Yeah.
Oh,
Say
okay.
your
So-
presence sensing's on, but you do need to turn it on. You
Because
need
like
to
when
set
I
it.
switch
But-
phones,
but hey,
I
look,
lose
Google-
I lose that because it's looking for the phone you set up presence sensing.
I
Google
assumed
Google
Apple-
service working on everything.
I just assumed Apple wouldn't let Google have that
Apple's like,
API.
nope.
Maybe not. Honestly,
Actually,
Yeah, there's
you
a
need
chance.
to add him to your.
Maybe not.
Something like that.
Apple might be like, no, you're not allowed to track this person when they leave the office.
Because the minute I
Apple's like only we can.
like
track
the other day when I swapped SIM cards in this. Oops, I double tapped. I don't want to snap. Thank you.
You want to Snap, don't you?
You want Snap?
You want Snapchat?
Yeah,
I
you
don't
have to-
ever
it'll
use
ask you
Snapchat.
or you have to switch to this.
Yeah, so I got to
turn
tell
it
my
off.
even though the routine's still there, the presence sensing is tied to that phone that never left.
Yeah.
and so it's not turning the
Yeah.
lights off when I leave because
Yeah.
it thinks I'm still here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might have to just go through.
But
it.
the-
Are you a Packers fan?
I am.
He's
Do you
a
know that
Cardinals
there
fan.
are two Packers? I live in a neighborhood that consists of 3 streets. 3 streets. There are 2 Packers fans in my neighborhood.
Sounds like a nice neighborhood.
Mathematically
Kinda
speaking,
cheesy.
that seems
Yeah.
impossible.
Man, there's Packers fans everywhere, man.
One of them lives
yeah.
in my house. Is
It's
the
like
craziest part
Cubs
about it.
fans and Kentucky fans.
Yeah,
They're everywhere.
for sure.
They are everywhere.
Yeah, I don't remember how we got on this. So I'm not even going to try to wrap it up. But there you go. There's that.
Don't try to.
We're gonna take it- we're gonna
We
take a-
basically talk because I'm trying to remember. So when I go to type that, we basically talked about the Pixel 6.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
All right.
And for the 4nm new
Yeah, the new
stuff
chip.
on Gen 2, and then there was probably some other stuff in
And
there.
the Packers.
And the Packers and ecosystem stuff. We're going to take a quick break for an ad. Before we do that, though, one other quick shout out for our Patreon. If you want to go see a really fun little microfilm. We're calling it a microfilm.
Yeah, that's why we got into
microfilm.
microfiche last.
see we
Did you see him
teased it.
doing microfiche on
Stranger
Stranger Things?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
They
saw
were wearing
it.
out
I was
some
like,
microfiche.
I know that. I
They
know
said
that
microfilm, I think.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah,
thing.
it did
Whatever.
say. It said what there was like a abbreviation down the side.
Yeah,
It said something.
Yeah,
it was
because I was reading it.
MOAC or something. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
it was said they call it microfilm.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was like
might have been a
microfiche, like
brand or something they
Who
couldn't
knows?
get. Yeah, yeah. That movie. It basically feels like watching a
Big,
really
huge,
long movie.
Long movie. God, season
that
4.
series and their attention to detail on how did they get all that stuff?
I have no
I mean, I
idea.
know some of it's maybe CGI, like some of the background stuff, but a lot of it, I mean, their set, like their main set where
pieces are mind-boggling.
where they're interacting with stuff are so spot on.
Yep. It's nuts.
It's insane.
And every year it's been that way.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's been like that from the beginning.
Where did
Yeah.
all this 80s stuff come from?
Like,
I guess
how
it's
did
probably
you
collectors
get
and
all
stuff.
this?
I don't know.
It could be
So
a mixture
crazy.
of collectors and people actually like prop masters.
Oh, going out.
Rebuilding.
Building.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
I mean, I don't know. Ever since starting a YouTube channel, like realizing what amount of work goes into just getting an A-roll shot,
Yeah.
just to set up an A-roll shot
Yeah.
to talk to the camera, like,
Yeah.
and then looking at what they do with films and stuff.
Yeah.
I watched Maverick last night, and then like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there now, just like thinking through this stuff. Like it's so far beyond my comprehension.
And-
I don't.
And
It
there's
blows my
so much. There's so much that happens, especially for something like Stranger Things. Like, how many people do they have on staff that are just doing the smallest little details?
Yep.
You know, and it's cool. Like when you see a YouTuber that is achieving some level of that, and I hope that over time people watch our stuff and are like, oh yeah, that looks better now, or this looks cool. Like,
Right.
it's just that process and the grind and all the little things we do now when we go to set up. We set up, it takes us half the time, more maybe equal amount of time to set everything up, get it
Right.
all set up, get all the lights correct, get all the settings all right on the cameras, and then we
I just
film
walk
for
in
5
and talk
minutes.
and leave.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes and we're done. Cool, let's
Crazy.
stare it
What
up.
was the one
And I
I
sit
saw?
in my chair and I'm like, "What are y'all complaining
Yeah,
about?"
But back to Pains 3. We made a really fun high style microfilm for our patrons, something a little different. We talked about it a little bit last week. We hinted at it. It was premiered last Friday. You should go check it out. It's really fun
It
for our
is.
$5 and up tiers. Go check it out. It's just really fun.
is the blooper reel going live?
I've got
Are we gonna do
the
that?
interview uploaded right now, and then I'm going to upload the bloopers, have it scheduled for like Friday probably.
Dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, the blooper reel is fun.
The blooper reel's got to be really fun. The actual interview with Kenny is going to be going up, so...
I'm looking. I want to watch that because I clearly was not paying any attention.
Yeah, you were off doing your thing.
Yeah.
Being heisty.
I was heisting. I'm heisty.
You were
Not-
off heisting.
Not feisty. I'm heisty.
It's right. All right. On that note, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. We're back. Alrighty, everyone. That's what I normally say. I don't know what I'm saying.
I don't know. We cut it, but he introduced us as if we were restarting the podcast.
I think
Yeah.
we should. We should do it that way. I'll just restart the show. Let's just do it all.
Andrew's over there like, oh.
Yeah.
No, that one was 50
He's like,
minutes
I'm
long.
so bored.
So the part we cut, there's 5 empty beverages on the table.
Yeah.
So this is going to be
Is
quick.
yours empty?
I
too?
started. Mine's basically empty.
He's got a gulp of water left.
I started doing the fake intro or the intro, and then I just forgot what I was doing and just kept doing it.
And then
you
we
know.
all looked around and noticed all this is empty.
Yeah,
None of
we-
us refilled our drinks.
We just went and
Why
talked
is
and
walked
the
then
around
coffee
and-
always gone?
I don't know. There's something wrong with this. So first part of the podcast, a little longer. We just got rolling on some fun stuff, some fun chit chatting. So, but we got a couple other quick things to talk through.
Yeah.
So we can talk through a couple of them. We'll wrap this thing up. Everyone listening, everyone watching, you go about your day.
Yeah, my Traeger has. It's been away from me for
Yeah. He's having
8
withdrawals.
hours. No, it misses me.
Ah, okay.
Oh, did it contact you?
Mm-hmm.
No.
The Wi-Fi.
Does it send,
That would-
does it
Over
send
Wi-Fi.
selfies?
It sends selfies.
I am ready.
Where are you? Are you
Sup?
home yet? Are you coming home? Who are you with?
Wow.
Who are
You
you
want to
talking
cook
to?
something?
Wow.
I like cooking.
I like
Are you using a microwave?
Yeah.
Is that a microwave I just heard?
Well, propane.
What is that? Is that propane? Is that propane?
I will leave.
Propane
I like
and propane
other
accessories.
So let's talk about the Chromebase because I think it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Chromeboxes.
Oh,
Well, there's Chromebases
why did I
too.
write Chromebase?
Because there
Well,
was that, yeah.
There's Chromebase news too.
Okay.
We were
Um,
talking and we got the article.
okay.
He was
They're all
meaning
worth
the
talking
Chromebox.
You were your thing that you wanted to talk about though is the MSI
Boxes.
Chromebox.
They just
Yeah.
just ruined the surprise.
Just put it all out there.
We're just getting into it.
Well, so the first story was we've got a family, what it looks like a family of MediaTek Campanio 1380 powered Chromebases.
Just
coming.
awesome.
Dragon Fruit is the name of the baseboard.
Love it.
And
Because you said that benchmarked around 10th Gen i3, correct?
Mhm. Yeah,
Which is
so
what is in the
36,
current Chromebase HP.
Yeah,
so
so-
you're not going to have to worry about, you match that with 8 gigs of RAM, and especially if it's
It's fine.
upgradable and you can
Oh,
do
yeah.
like 16.
Yeah.
It's great.
And this dragon fruit board is it's clearly a base board or a reference board. So even in the README in the file says this is the base reference board for the family of devices.
Nice.
So who knows? We could technically the little thing we have in the office in there is a Chromebase. It's like a little kiosk, little metal kiosk thing. So I mean, some of them could be that type of thing too. But in my brain, I'm imagining more stuff like the HP where they can get interesting form factors and stuff, because now you don't need fans, you don't need like cooling chambers and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You can have thin devices, and the motherboard can be pretty darn small. And so, like, what else could you do with all that space?
And I'm sure somebody saw this, but we have our ideas about the new Pixel tablet and the rumors of what it might be. And I saw finally someone did write an article agreeing with kind of what I said, that this is probably going to be like a Nest Hub kind of whatever. Who knows what it's going to be? But think about a smart hub Chromebase.
Oh, I actually ended my article with that.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's like, what if it was a Chromebase that's a detachable?
Yeah,
Like, you pop the thing off there and take it with you.
Yeah, you have like a really nice sound bar or something, and it pops in, and it's
or like the HP. It's got the cone. It's got great speakers.
Yeah, it's got dual 5-watt speakers in it. It's
does
awesome.
Does all that home stuff, and then when you need a tablet to take to the couch, pop it off there and take it with you.
Yeah, because Google's doing a lot of stuff with the ambient display and everything. There's no reason they couldn't do what they've done with Android, and when it's docked, it kind of becomes more of a home controller than it is other. I mean, all that stuff works together really well.
Even if it didn't play into the Google Home ecosystem side of things, if it's a desktop computer, I mean, it could be a 13. I mean, people use a 13-inch iPad. If it's a 13-inch, I mean, heck, the Duet 5 is a 13-inch.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be a big tablet that's meant more for, around the house and sitting on the couch kind of thing. Plop it up on there with its speakers and keyboard and everything.
What's the big Microsoft thing?
It was the Surface Studio, the first one, but now the Surface Studio now is that laptop that bends down. I think they did away with it.
How cool would that be if somebody came out with like I don't know, what size? That's 21 and a half?
20, yeah.
It could be that size, maybe more like, I don't know, what's the next size down from that? That would be like, actually is a thing. And you got 17.3-inch laptops.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's just say
really
20.
A gap. Yeah.
But if you had a 21.5 device that laid like this for creators, but then who was it? Acer does that with like some of their Concept D stuff, but Lenovo has one like that too. But like it could be a full desktop, but then a creator thing and drawing and all that. So because as Robby saw this morning, some of the stylus apps are coming along really well.
Cursive, like they announced, Cursive's available for everybody with 102, and so that announcement came, and I'm like, well, that Google does this from time to time with ChromeOS, like something that's been out, like they
shed
push
a little
it
light
to everybody,
on it,
and they make it a feature thing. But it's like, well, whatever. It's Cursive. It's been around. It made me think, like, well, there could be some upgrades with Chrome, like the browser part of Chrome that makes the web app of Cursive will just work better. And so, I flipped the Spin 513 around, grabbed the pen oval pen, and started writing, and I was like, this is really good. Like, not just okay, like, this is totally, like, I was able to sit and jot. My handwriting's terrible, and it's real fast and twitchy and just awful to begin with. And so it has to be really good at picking up all those quick movements. And I was able to sit and took some fake notes, as if I was sitting in a meeting or something. I'm like, this is totally usable.
The only thing I noticed was sometimes if you're really fast as you lift the pen, the stroke would almost start and then come back.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it wasn't a big deal, but the fluidity and the responsiveness were amazing.
Yeah.
And you can go to the Cursive web app on other devices, but we found the other day is that Google is clearly, this is developed for Chromebooks. We couldn't even get it to load on a Mac.
Yeah.
So it should work really well. It needs to work really well.
Yeah, it needs to. And it has improved greatly. What's funny is I figured out it actually feels like it's a tad bit more responsive when the first time I was testing it, I accidentally had the dongle for my mouse in the device still. So even though I had it in tablet mode, it was still technically in desktop mode. It was actually more responsive in desktop mode. Like when I let the tablet go, or let the Chromebook go into its tablet mode, it was still very good. I mean, we're talking like if in desktop mode it was a 10, this was like a 9.5. It's like a small drop off, but I could tell there's this tad bit of latency, and who knows? Like ChromeOS could because now when in tablet mode, it's looking more for touch input and navigation. So they may have to put some things in that kind of let it offset certain touch inputs, and so maybe that's, I don't know, I'm not sure, but it is definitely improving, like big time. Like this is a usable web app. I tried it on some other devices too, and it does feel like Chrome OS 102 fixed something, or it could just be coincidental. Maybe Cursive just got better. I don't know. Maybe both. I'm not sure, but it's good that it's better for when they announced it and made a big deal about it versus them making a big deal about it. Be like, we're getting to it. It's going to get better. Like that would have been kind of embarrassing, even though we've kind of bagged on it pretty hard. Like
it was.
Cursive.
I went back.
Bad.
Yeah, when I wrote the article the other day, I went back and looked, and you had done a video, and there was 3 or 4 articles around the time, and it was just Google should not have released it when they did.
No.
I mean, I know it was with the announcement of the HP X2, but
that experience almost sullied my experience of the X2 to begin with. Like I was like, oh, so either the touch thing's no good or this pen's not good, or well, maybe Cursive isn't good. Who knows?
Yeah, because you got this dope little tablet that has the first ever wirelessly recharging stylus, and you're like, man, this should be a really great tablet experience. And the app that they hinged the entire thing on is like,
wasn't quite ready.
No, and it's not been ready ever since.
It should have been like, hey, we're working on this thing. In the meantime, use Squid.
Well, no, I think Jackson has the HP, and a couple of weeks back he said Cursive has gotten really, really good, and so I wonder if they made sure it was really good on the HP first. Made sure that. Yeah. I mean, we don't understand how much goes into all this stuff. So, like, how much the different display drivers and the different digitizers on the screen, how much does that stuff play into it? The pen you're using. Like we sent back the Spin 7 or the Spin 714, which has the built-in stylus. The stylus nib on that one, I loved. Like there was a slight bit of friction on the screen. I felt like it was like perfect, and so I'm really interested when that device comes out. It's like a review-ready device. The Spin 714. Yeah. The front stylus came out of the front. Not the best pen. Like it's still one of those little skinny sticks, but like the nib on it was perfect. I felt like it. So I'll be interested to see when that device comes out. By the time it comes out in is it August? I think it's going to launch, July or August. Cursive will probably go through a few more updates by then. Like that could be really, really good. Even though I'd never take handwritten notes.
Yeah. I'm nice to.
I'm ready for there to get to the point where
the
there's an option for a web app that does
that you can recommend.
Yes, that's like, hey, if you need notes, it's already included on your Chromebook anyway, and a USI pen, it's going to work well. Like it worked pretty well on the Pixel Slate with the Pixel Book pen,
right?
But I'm like, that's not what we're looking for. It needs to be USI needs to work, and it needs to work well with.
Yeah, it's the whole point of USI
on any Chromebook.
It's universal. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And it's Cursive has just been good on this Chromebook, terrible on this one, mediocre on that one, good with that pen. Not like that's no good. Like this needs to be universally good or universally bad. Like it doesn't need to be. Well, if I had that right combination, it worked. Like we don't need to do it if that's the way it's going to work. Right. So I think they're getting there. With Cursive. I don't know how did we get to Cursive?
I don't remember. Chromeboxes.
Yeah.
Oh, we were talking about like Creator Studio
right.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
So MediaTek powered Chromebases are coming. What form factors those will take, we'll have to wait and see. But it's really cool to see instead of just Intel and some ARM processors.
And that's another advantage there too, is that battery life should inherently be better. So for people that are using these for whether it's like testing at schools, because that's one of the big things I never really thought of when they started talking about Chromebases and things like that. Like they can use these for testing centers, but if you have like a detachable that's really powerful but big, that's a big added bonus. I mean, the HP is awesome, but she's a house. It's a big device.
Yeah, so. You have less power draw. So if you're using them in schools or in libraries or something where you got 50 of them in one room, if they all have ARM processors in them, that power draw goes way down. Your electric bill goes way down. Yeah. So benefits all around.
Bonus.
No fans.
Added bonus.
So less sound coming from them. There's a lot of benefits there. But today, there were a couple Chromebases that I've been meaning to write anyway. There's a new reference board called Brask. That is the Alder Lake. Yes.
You said bases.
Dang it.
Boxes.
Chromebases.
We've moved on to boxes now.
That they're based on Brask, which I think those bases are based on Brask. No, those are dragon fruit. But Brask is
You're just making up words. I mean, I listen to you all talk about this stuff all the time, and I still don't track most of it.
Oh, and it's
been getting
way
worse.
wider
Used
now.
to, I could
Oh my
keep.
gosh.
You know, we had like our set.
Oh,
Remember all those?
yeah.
You know,
couple that you follow.
Yeah.
No, it's. I have to go reference stuff all the time. But
what was Halvor and all those?
Halvor?
Oh, gosh, Halvor.
Those were 11th gen.
Yeah.
I remember. I don't remember why, but that's always stuck with.
Halvor was the one that I'm pretty sure was going to be a Pixel.
Yeah.
It got axed.
I don't remember why. Well, I guess we talked about that one on the podcast enough that it stuck with me.
Yeah, it had the
And it sounds like Lazor and Trogdor.
Yeah.
I always
Which
loved
was your
Trogdor.
favorite?
Trogdor
Yeah, Trogdor.
is still my all-time favorite.
Well, Trogdor is the base for like the Homestar and the devices that have become like the
Right.
one that we unboxed today.
Right.
It's the beginning of that.
It's the start.
Somehow that whole platform, like,
It
they built it. It's a platform, and so they're like the Gen 2 devices are still kind of in that same vein,
Right.
Even though it's a different processor, and I feel like I haven't pieced it completely together, but even the 7C Gen 3, that 7C Plus Gen 3, that's what it is. Devices that are coming, I'm pretty sure there's just a slight change in the baseboard for that they're still going to be in that same like vein. Like Hero Brine, we thought was the Gen 2, but there are ones that are still just the Gen 1
Right. Yeah.
family of device. It's strange, but it's
Yeah.
a platform thing versus it being a specific. They don't have a new board reference board for each processor. It's like this is for the Snapdragon 7C thing.
Stuff.
and so
Yeah.
they're all just kind of keep
Yeah.
funneling in there. So there's and then there's a whole other one for
Yeah.
the 8C too. But with this one, Brask is built off Bria, which is Alder Lake, so 12th gen Alder Lake. We're still waiting for those. We don't have any production model 12th gen devices in hand yet.
No.
Like here's the one that's going to be on the shelf. They're all like pre-production. Can't look at this or can't run benchmarks. Still waiting. Should be very soon. Like we should see the HP soon. But Brask is the Chromebox variation of this, and so now with these added, there's 4 different models plus Brask, which probably won't become a device. So 4 that we're tracking. You think about Asus, Acer, CTL, HP makes a box every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like the main players will probably just put out a box, and there's not a whole lot to know about them. Like there's no displays, there's no keyboards or accelerometers or.
Yeah,
You don't need any of that
they're
stuff.
all pretty much the same, honestly.
It's a board, and
Yeah.
here are the ports. Here, go put your stuff with it. But there's one, and I haven't written this yet. I figured it out right as I was publishing that, and I was just looking like, maybe I can see who these might be by. And the newest one, Voshyr, is the name of it, Voshyr. These are all apparently Destiny names. Even Brask is all still Destiny names. Which Destiny's huge, so there's all sorts of made-up names in there. But Voshyr is... There's not much on it yet except some emails attached to it that are at msi.corppartner.google.com. So MSI is the same as our gaming PC over there that we use for our golf simulator. And while they make some devices, creator devices, like 1 or 2 other main models, mainly MSI makes gaming laptops. Like that's their thing. So who knows? We could end up seeing one of these Chromeboxes have a gaming bent to it, maybe a GPU, maybe external GPU support.
Yes.
They all have Thunderbolt 4.
All of this.
So as long as they flip the switch to let it
External.
interface with an external GPU, that could be a thing. Alder Lake on its own is going to be fine for Steam gaming. And now that we have a platform for online games, like Google's really fine with pushing Stadia and GeForce Now and Luna, they're plenty happy. Like that's starting to show up in the search. In the start menu, or not start menu, shoot, that's Windows. In the
start
Shut up.
menu.
I'm
What?
what do you call it in the app launcher? I don't know. What's that new productivity launcher?
Yeah,
is what they
productivity
call it. I
launcher.
just call it the app
I
launcher.
don't know if that's what it's actually going to be called or not. Whatever.
Probably.
We'll just call it launcher.
Yeah.
When you hit the everything button. But like game, we're starting to see game search just showing up in there. So if you were to like search for PUBG, it'd be like, here, play PUBG on Stadia. Like as a search thing, just click it, and because it's cloud gaming, just log in and go. So they're pushing those things. So a device that is built with a gamer aesthetic, that has really good internals, that has Steam installed out of the box, and cloud gaming, and obviously can do some Android gaming too.
We've talked about this.
That'd be pretty wild.
Yeah, and like building
Bundle it with a RGB keyboard and
100%.
mouse. Go all in.
Gabe found that a while ago that we've got RGB
Wow.
yeah.
Keyboards.
External keyboards.
Yeah, I knew MSI was large, and their focus is mainly gaming. They do some creator stuff, but 2021 net income $16 billion.
That's a few devices.
Wow.
I didn't think
But I
they were
mean,
that
that's
big.
all
That's a
they
few.
they do make graphics cards. You can buy MSI graphic cards.
really?
Well, I think they do I'll research this and double check. I think they do what Asus does. They'll take like GTXs and stuff.
Okay.
They do where they brand them. I think I might be wrong, but I
Okay.
think
Sounds
that's
likely.
what they do.
Yeah.
So
But, like-
I've been super happy with the MSI
Yeah.
laptop in here. I mean, it does one thing, but
But
it does it well.
all of our Chrome boxes have looked basically exactly the same.
Acer's they keep doing like they've done those like pill shaped ones that are a little different.
Yeah, that's true.
HP is a little more rounded now. They've gone back to a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
they're
at the end
just
of the day,
But
if
in
you
general,
pop the
yeah.
top off and look at the board,
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
But like, what if I've seen some of these newer gaming rigs? Because part of having like the gaming rig is your setup,
The lighting.
right? And your lighting and stuff. Like, what if I've seen these ones that are like almost like not a loaf of bread, but like that sort of shape, and they've got all their internals in there. Anybody
do the
listening,
acrylic side on the
yeah,
side, like,
yeah,
light up the
yeah, do
fans.
something a little fun with it. Your MSI, like make it fun, like.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Or just do a little extra lighting on it or something.
Yeah,
and
I
make
mean,
it
I
look a little
think
fancy.
for the first gen of these, like just the top was kind of like those Intel NUCs, like they got the skull on the top of them that does all the different lighting stuff. Like something like that would be cool. And MSI's got their it's like a dragon looking logo. Put that right on the top, and have it RGB.
Yeah,
go through
we've
colors.
talked about this multiple times. I really feel like it's just a matter of time before we see that. Whether
It's gonna happen.
I kind of felt like maybe Asus would do it first, like they would have a ROG Chromebox,
or Acer.
or Acer,
Yeah,
'cause
Predator.
Their Predator.
I thought Predator would be the first one, and it still could be. I mean,
It could
I'm
be,
not-
yeah.
because MSI could just make a Chromebox
And
and just be like, hey, we're getting into Chrome OS, and we're going to start with a box, and we'll make a Chromebook at some point. Like, because I searched for that email address, the end of it at MSI.corp partner.
yeah.
Because Samsung has those, and Compal, and like all the manufacturers have those corp partner email addresses. I searched it. The only thing that's attached to that is this Voshir box. So it's not like MSI is getting into making Chromebooks yet. But
Right.
this could be their first foray and be like, okay, we want to use this. It's a lot simpler to get into making a Chromebox than making a full-blown
right,
laptop.
you don't have to
'cause
deal with all the other peripherals.
all the other extra stuff. You can bring whatever, and we'll make sure the Chrome OS team makes it to where the peripherals work.
Yeah.
But what would be super neat is if they did that and just had some cool aesthetic to it. If external GPUs work, or if they put a discrete
A
GPU,
nice
that would
GPU,
be cool. But not necessary, I don't think, to pull this off for the first one. But if they would bundle it with like an MSI keyboard, an RGB keyboard that had the Chromebook layout on
Yes.
it, would be pretty cool.
That would be saucy.
Yeah, and because Google needs to be pushing manufacturers towards this stuff if they're going to really do the whole Steam gaming thing. If they're really going to take that to fruition, there needs to be a few that are out there that people are like, hey, I have this Chromebook and it does this cool stuff, but I'm into gaming and I want to have this vibe. And you saw Asus do it with that CM5.
Yeah, the orange keys. And
Yeah,
all that
like
stuff,
that.
It had a gamer aesthetic.
Right, and it wasn't geared towards gaming at all.
No.
It's just an
But
aesthetic.
yeah, you think
difference.
about like Lenovo, because we've talked about that too. Lenovo comes out with a new 12th gen Legion gaming Chromebook. The box is covered in Steam out of the box, GeForce Now, Stadia, whatever, all the gaming stuff. It's gonna
All of
have,
your
it's gonna
gaming
have the
and all
appeal.
of your
If they can do
online
all,
gaming in one
If
place.
they can do all of that, there's some serious appeal right there.
Sure.
Yeah.
What's HP's Omen?
Omen? Yeah, Omens.
And I haven't written this yet either, but it's an opinion piece. But like, I think there's a reason we have so many 12th gen Alder Lake devices in development. It's way more than we've ever had of any flagship level Intel. Way more. And I think part of it isn't because we have a bunch of new players in the game. I think there's probably going to be some gaming focused SKUs, some laptops that are, we built this one, so Acer
Right.
put out their things, but we're also going to put out a Predator, and HP put theirs out. We also have an Omen. Like, I could see that.
Yeah, because we
definitely
saw
being
it
a
happen
thing.
with the business stuff and the premium stuff, Elite and Dragonfly. I mean, the Dragonfly, that was a big deal for Chrome OS.
You get one main announcement, but then you have these kind of spin-offs that are the
Yes.
enterprise versions.
But they're folding Chrome OS into their. I remember sitting here years ago thinking, man, how awesome will it be when so and so does a premium Chromebook with this name
like
on it?
HP Spectre. We're still hoping for like a Dell XPS.
Yeah, so an
at one time.
XPS, and then we've already got the Dragonfly, which was a huge deal. Dragonfly was a big product for HP.
Yeah.
But to see a Legion and a Concept D something from Acer or something, it's getting to that point where they're doing that. So, and we talked about that too. The day will come where you go to Best Buy and you're like, oh man, I really like the look of this laptop. Okay, cool. Well, they both have this, and this. It's just a matter. Do you want Windows or do you want Chrome OS?
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
slowly but surely.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited for this next, a new era of Chrome OS.
Yeah, and I think
gaming laptops
the
and
the
Chromeboxes.
12th gen
I think it's
Intel
gonna be
stuff
really cool.
rolling in, and as it feels like MediaTek's finally getting to the point where those chips that we talked about a year and a half ago, we're finally starting to see them appear in a bunch of stuff, and like there's multiple generations of things coming in the second half of 2022, and then what's funny is at this point right now we don't have a firm bead. We've got a few leads on some some of the next gen Intel stuff. They're always going to be the next gen Intel, but like the Snapdragon 7C Gen 3, and then I'm guaranteeing you there's a Snapdragon 8CX of some sort.
Yeah.
Like I found some commits that we wrote that up. Like that's coming too.
Yeah.
So now you've got forays coming in ARM spaces. Like I don't know who else is getting like AMD. Just put out the AMD 5000 stuff, which is fine. But like what's the next big move? And I feel like gaming is
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
pretty open door to
Well, and
for
especially
some people to walk
with
through.
with Google putting so much time and effort and emphasis into this.
Right.
But
I think-
it doesn't seem like some little side project. Like this feels
No.
like something they have been thinking about and planning for a very long time.
It'd be smart for some of them if they can to get these gaming focused Chromebooks out before the holidays. Like they'd be really, really wise, because there are going to be parents that are like, hey, I got to buy them this Chromebook for school or whatever. But if I got to buy them this gaming Chromebook, all of a sudden they're going to be like, whoa, this is great. That's a little different and a little more interesting than just a random Chromebook. For different demographics. So it's going to be interesting to watch it.
Is there any updated timeline on Borealis Steam on Chrome OS?
No, still firmly in alpha.
Yeah.
Into this year for beta, probably.
Yeah.
I would say mid 2023 before it's...
Have they been sharing like updates and stuff?
They've
Like,
put
is
a
there
couple of blog posts up on the dev page just about the journey of how they got there and
Right.
the ongoing development, but not a lot as far as future casting or anything like that. So
or just feedback, like for those that are
would
in it
love
that
to
are
see it.
testing? And obviously, I know it's not
Look at
supported
search
on a ton of
CR
devices
bug,
right
'cause
now.
if they submit feedback through Chrome OS, it might be on CR bug.
Yeah. I think the next big phase for Borealis is just going to be them opening it up to more.
Mhm.
And what
Letting
I feel
more
like,
people apply.
honestly, is what they're waiting for is these Alder Lake Chromebooks to get out. I mean,
would say
that's the main target.
Yeah, I'd say you're definitely right there.
Alder Lake devices are going to be where people, if you want a good device that runs Steam games well, you need to go get this. It's a big enough performance leap over the 11th gen stuff.
Right.
The GPU is a big enough, it's worth spending your money to go get this device if you actually want to play games on
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Exciting times. Exciting times.
all sorts of stuff coming.
Love it.
It's going in all different
Just
directions.
we're gonna try to keep our heads down and
all we need, we're
keep-
down to video editors, and that's it.
It's coming.
that's what we
Yeah,
need.
LumaFusion's the other thing I'm super excited
LumaFusion,
about.
I am super stoked about. We have it set up on that mic right over there, and Andy and I are going to spend a little time working on a video on that one. Try to get an idea of what it might be like using LumaFusion with keyboard and mouse support, and maybe get a little bit of an idea of what it might be like on a Chromebook. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
That's gonna be dope. I got it all
So
set
is
up
it-
late last week.
Did you get it out of the Mac store,
Yeah.
basically?
Yeah, so they figured out a way on just through that ecosystem.
It's basically the iPad version
It's-
with mouse and keyboard
Right.
support.
Yeah.
Which is what the Chromebook
Yeah.
version is going to be like.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
cool.
and they just ported some things. They obviously had some of the keyboard stuff already because of iPad, right? They had some
Right.
of that already mapped. I had a conversation with one of their folks a while ago. I can't remember all the details, but it was fairly easy transition to that, and then obviously the step into ChromeOS is obviously some more development, but they're really excited about it, and the demo at I/O has me really excited. He emailed back and was like, because I just said, hey, this is amazing, here's our write-up, like this was so cool, and he was like, yes, like that was the first like public appearance of
it's actually there, it's running,
working, and very stoked on that. And I think that could be, like you said, I mean, that's a whole nother realm of opportunity for Chromebooks and ChromeOS, especially with these newer processors and with discrete GPUs. And woo, fun times.
Yep.
Speaking of, we got to get back to it. We got to go write some more stuff, make some more videos. That's it for this week. We appreciate y'all tuning in, watching, and listening, and we'll catch you all next week. See you.